Way back in 1955, Disneyland had just opened in California, where a 10-year-old boy walked in and asked for a job. After working there for a year, he transitioned to the Disney's magic shop, where he learned a little bit of few tricks here and there on magic from the older employees. He experimented with jokes and tried small tricks on visitors. Very soon, this little boy realized that he didn't just enjoy performing tricks, he enjoyed performing in general. He started to gauge his interest and his passion towards comedy. He started performing in small clubs across Los Angeles. He would just get 5 minutes of stage time in the beginning days. Most of the people in those pubs were barely paying attention to what he was doing. They would usually keep talking to their friends or just drinking or eating. One day he literally performed on the stage where there was no one in the public. That's how he started. It wasn't any glamorous work in those days, but he knew that he was just getting better and better at what he's doing. His first routines would only last 1 or 2 minutes. By high school, his materials became 5 minutes talk and then 10 minutes and then 15 minutes. And with time, he started getting better at being on the stage and performing for others. At 19, he was performing weekly for 20 minutes at a time. His skills continued to grow, but at a gradual level. He spent another 10 years of his life just experimenting, adjusting, and adapting. He took a job as a television writer, and by the mid-1970s, he had worked his way into being a regular guest on The Tonight Show. Finally, after 15 years of consistent work, this man rose to fame. He toured 60 cities in 63 days, then 72 cities in 80 days, then 85 cities in 90 days. At one time in Ohio, he had 18,965 tickets sold for a show of his. Another 45 tickets were sold for his show in New York. Within 15 years of consistent practice, this man rose to fame and became one of the biggest comedians ever of his time. His name is Steve Martin. In the words of Steve Martin himself, he said, he spent 10 years learning, 4 years refining, and 4 years as a wild success. The key to his success was that he stuck to his habits, whether it is performing on the stage or practicing his jokes. The author James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, said that how do we design the habits in our lives that help us move forward, and the habits that we can stick towards for a longer period of time for continued success. Scientists also have been studying this question for many years, and they have come to the conclusion that we perform at our peak level and that we are able to make gradual and consistent success when we work on a task that is of just manageable difficulty. The human brain loves a challenge, but only if it is under the zone of minimal difficulty. Now take an example. If you love playing tennis and if you play tennis with a 6-year-old, what would you do? You would get bored by the end of the game because you would win every single match against that child. While if you play tennis with Roger Federer, what would happen? You would not win any, or your motivation will gradually go down. Now consider playing tennis with someone who is of your level or a little better than you. You might lose a few games, but that loss will motivate you to keep playing. And the wins that you are doing will actually make you go up. You have a good chance of winning this game, but only if you keep trying, only if you keep pushing yourself to another level. This is the task of just manageable difficulty. If you are playing with a player who's of your level or little better than you, you try every possible way to win the game because you know there is a chance that you can win the game. The Goldilocks Rule states that human experiences peak motivation working on tasks that are right at the edge of the difficulty level. Not too difficult and not too easy, just right. As we can see the graph in this video, the Goldilocks rule happens when there is something in between which is very difficult and very easy. It takes place when there are just enough victories to keep us motivated and just enough mistakes to keep us working towards the goal. Steve Martin's career is an excellent example of the Goldilocks rule, where he kept making small, consistent changes, having a few wins and having a few losses while making an overall progress in his career. Scientists have tried to quantify this feeling and have called it the flow state. Flow state is the experience of being in the zone and fully immersed in an activity. Scientists said that if you want to keep doing a task, it should be roughly 4% more difficult than what you can actually handle. In real life, when we are working on a task, it is not possible to quantify this and check if that task is 4% difficult or more than that. But the whole idea of the Goldilocks rule is that we have to work on a task that is of just manageable difficulty, not too difficult and not too easy. Something that is on the perimeter of your ability, that lies somewhere around what you are capable of doing. Improvements require a delicate balance. You need to regularly search for challenges that push you towards your edge while continuing to make enough progress to stay motivated. If we want to get better each day on a consistent basis, make gradual progress, it has to be done in a small fashion. It has to be done gradually, one step after another. First, we have to have a task which is 4% more difficult. Then once we accomplish that, we have to go up by another 4%. But if we straight away go to a task which is 30% more difficult than what we are capable of doing, we will never be able to accomplish that, and we will lose the motivation by understanding that we are not capable of doing that. If you hit the Goldilocks rule, you will achieve a state of flow where you will not realize the passing of the time, where you will enjoy so much that that task will fill you up with energy instead of draining you out. I hope you like the contents of the video. I've taken the contents of the video from the book Atomic Habits that I read a few days ago. It's a lovely book with a lot of learnings. I can share the Amazon link on the description. Please do hit like, share, comment and subscribe. If there's someone who wants to make gradual but consistent progress in life, please do share this video with them.